Hello my YouTube fans. So we're taking a break from chess. We are following the Comet Ison. So I got this wonderful piece of software which is free to download. I highly recommend it if you're even slightly interested in astronomy. Even if you're wondering how to find things in the sky. Well, I updated it to include a list of comets, including of course Ison. So you see the crosshairs sort of pulsing near the sun there on your screen. Do watch this in HD. Otherwise it's going to look a little messy. So here's the thing. I'm trying to make it a project to look at the comet. But in order to do that in the next couple of weeks, it's going to be literally looking at the sun. Now, I know in my previous video, I stress, do not look at the sun. Okay? You can go blind. Even without a telescope, if you look at the sun for any extended period, an extended period of time, I mean by a few seconds, you can damage your eyes. And you will damage your eyes if it is a few seconds. There are people who do this as a stupid thing to do, but believe me, please, do not look at the sun. Pointing a telescope at the sun is, of course, a crazy thing to do, but we do it all the time. We do it because we're astronomers and we have solar filters that go in the front of the telescope. I actually don't have a solar filter myself, but there's another way to use a telescope as a projector. If you know how to do this, if you know how to use the telescope as a projector and you have one and you have kids around, please put a barrier by the telescope so that the kids do not look through the eyepiece, because the first thing you want to do is look through the eyepiece. If you look through the eyepiece of a telescope without a solar filter on, even as you bring your eye towards the eyepiece, you will get burned. You will go blind if you manage to get your eye open over that eyepiece. It's no ifs, you will. I've proven this to some, when I was a teenager way back when, about 4 decades ago. I lit a cigarette at the front of the eyepiece to show friends that they're not to look at the sun with the telescope. Needless to say, that eyepiece was a little bit fogged up after that. So I can't stress this enough. Do not look at the sun. Now, what I intend to do is to use the telescope as a projector. I'm going to project it onto a screen. And the reason why I'm projecting the sun to try and find the comet is because you can see how close it is. And it's going to get closer. By the 30th, actually on Thanksgiving Day, which is what, 2 days from now? What's today's date? Let's find out. Today's the 26th. 2 days is Thanksgiving. I expect that it's going to be at perihelion, so it's going to be very close to the sun. They say that on the 30th, you'll be able to see it in the pre-dawn sky. Which means I would have to have a crystal clear view of the eastern horizon. But I'm not exactly sure why the comet is showing itself there, because I thought it was actually closer than it. They were saying a half a degree, which is the length of the diameter of a full moon. In any case, I want to show you the software and stop talking about the sun. We're going to be able to follow the comet as it gets into a darker sky. I'm going to try, of course, to make a video with me projecting the sun, and we're gonna, if I can't catch the comet, through the telescope by projecting the sun, it's so close. If I can't see it by my little trickery with maybe blocking out the image of the sun and stuff like that, then at the very least, maybe we'll catch some sunspots and I'll point them out to you and stuff like that. But in the meantime, I'd also like to follow the comet, because it's supposed to be the comet of the century. Everybody's talking about it. And no superstitions, please. This is science. So let me see if I can find the search window. There it is. Okay, so the comet is actually labeled C slash 2012 2012, and you can see a list of comets already coming up. There's Pan-STARRS, there's Lemon, and there's Kowalski, and I haven't gotten to the, there it is, Ison. Okay, S3 is Pan-STARRS, S4 is Pan-STARRS. Wait a minute, I don't know. Anyway, S1 is Ison. So there it is. Okay, that's how I found it. I mean, I updated the software to include all those comets. So now I'm going to turn off the sky. There we go. We have no more air. I hope you have your spacesuits on. So there's Comet Ison, and this is what the sky would look like in outer space with no atmosphere. You can see there's Mercury. Okay, and you know how close Mercury is to the sun. You can see that Ison is even closer. So we're going to be able to follow this, and I could even turn on the constellation lines, which I might even do. Yeah, constellation labels, constellation lines. Okay, so as the comet, you know, moves around the sun and weeks pass, December comes, and etc., I'll be able to like tell you where to look to find the comet if you got a telescope and it's dimming out, and you want to try to find it with binoculars or telescope. That'll be great. But again, if you guys out there have binoculars and no telescope, do not try to look for it in the daytime with those binoculars. You will go blind. Please do not look at the sun. I don't want to make these videos looking for the comet, being so close to the sun at the moment, and find out that one of my subscribers went blind instantly because he accidentally pointed a pair of binoculars at the sun. So we're going to do this. I'm going to try and follow and help you guys, you know, amateur astronomers and fans alike, to try and find follow the comet. Perhaps you can see it as it gets into a darker sky with your binoculars. But again, I don't want to be responsible for making somebody go blind. So please do not look at the sun. Okay? If you want to try to use the binoculars or telescope as a projector, like I'm doing, that's it's a free country, you know. But please be careful. Okay? There are ways. For example, my telescope has a removable and reattachable viewfinder. The viewfinder is a 6-power telescope, and by itself, I will not be using that. That will be staying off of the telescope, because there's no need to point, you know, to use the viewfinder trying to find the sun. There is a way to point a telescope at the sun while not looking at it. You look at the shadow on the ground, and perhaps I'll link a video that I can find on the web to let you see how to do that. So you essentially look at the shadow on the ground to get it centered on the shadow, and you know that you're pointed at the sun. Make sure that the eyepiece is not pointed towards your face, you know, because you got the star diagonals if you're using a telescope like mine. And basically just be careful. Please, I don't want anybody to go blind trying to find comet during the time that it's so close to the sun. So let me put the air back in. Let's breathe again. And I want to thank you for watching, and I hope I didn't bore you, and I don't want to scold you, but it is dangerous. Okay? But it's also educational and fun. Hopefully the comet will brighten up so bright we can see it in the daytime. If it survives its trip around the sun. Apparently it's going to be at perihelion on Thanksgiving Day. Perihelion, of course, means that it'll be at its closest point to the sun. I believe it's something like 1 million miles, even, maybe 0.9 or something like that. I'll have to look it up. But the actually the let me take out the sky again. The numbers are up on the top left-hand corner of your screen there. Here, I can see them better now. Please watch this in HD. Right now, it's at a magnitude 1.96. That is actually very bright. That is actually bright enough to see easily with the naked eye in a even slightly not so dark sky, in a light polluted sky. But being it's so close to the sun, it's being lost. So let me see. Is there a distance here? Distance 0.9 AUs. Okay, as you can see, if you can follow this number, I don't know if you can see this. If you watch this in HD, you might be able to follow it. This software is actually following it. Right now, it's at 0.9196995 AU. Now it's 0.9197, and it keeps dropping. Okay. Astronomical units, of course, is 93 million miles. That's the average distance between the Earth and the Sun as it makes its trip around the Sun. So, if you can see that, if you watch this in HD, you might be able to see it. The number is dropping, so we got 919708. I see it's continuous. I don't know if it's it looks like it's going back up again. I don't know. Maybe the software is trying to catch up. Maybe they're continuing to update. But in any case, we're going to follow that number too. And now I got my curiosity up. But I'm going to end this video, and I'll keep following it after the video ends because I don't want to bore you to death. So keep looking up. And of course, if you're a chess fan, keep playing chess. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.